What's up, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Sports Picks. Brad and I are going to have a great show for you this Tuesday. Get you ready for the breading week. Brian, looking good, my man. How we doing?
Doing good, buddy. How about yourself? We got a good card this week in college. We got 5 battles of unbeatens. Cincy at Notre Dame, Arkansas at Georgia, Ole Miss at Bama, Baylor at Oklahoma State, and Friday night, Iowa at Maryland.
Yeah, we do. It's a great college football weekend. It's a great NFL weekend. We're jumping into a lot more divisional games. Dude, it's a solid one, and we're going to jump into all of it. Everybody, welcome in A to Z Sports Picks. I'm Alan Bell of CBS Sportsline, alongside of Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com. A to Z Sports Picks brought to you every Tuesday and Friday by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Everyone, make sure to download that BetMGM app. Use promo code A to Z Sports, and today you'll get a risk-free bet of up to $1,000. That's right, $1,000. I've used it, done it. They put those credits in your account ASAP. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Make sure to download that app and get started today. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Must be 21 years or older. Must be present in the state of Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789. So, Brian, like you were just talking about, dude, we got a ton of football, a ton of it. And we're going to start here with the local teams first. And everybody knows, how we go about this show is we use Tuesday. We are going to set everything up, find and identify our best bets across the country, NFL, you name it. And then all during the week, Friday, we're going to knock those down, get them all set. But I've got a couple that I'm already locked in on now. So let's jump into local teams here. Let me get it here on the screen so everybody can see what we're looking at. All right, so first, we got the Titans minus 7.5 at the Jets, a total of 46. So an interesting game. The Titans are 2-1, coming off a nice win over the Colts. Wasn't always pretty offensively, but they got the job done, ended up winning by 9. And you're going up against a Jets team that's horrific. Just absolutely horrific. They're just not good at anything. So I know.
Truth hurts.
Yeah, like you try to find better ways to say it, but that's just the truth. They're just not a good football team. So the way I'm looking at it is the 7.5 number. The Titans offense, it doesn't concern me, but it's not there yet. Right? Like, we still need to know about A.J. Brown, his injury. We need to know about, Julio Jones, what he's going to look like in terms of, kind of the game script. But this Titans team is better. But 7.5, that hook, I don't like it. What I do like is this. Titans first half -4. And I'll tell you why. The Jets have been outscored in the first half of games this season, 46-3. They scored 3 points. That's it. That's it. So I think that I like it. What do you look at?
Oh, it's Tennessee or pass. And I think, if you're our friends at BetMGM or whoever, if they're not charging like more than -120 or -125 to buy the hook, just buy the hook right now. And I think it'll be 8.5 or 9 by the time we get to kickoff. So not only is it Tennessee or pass, it's do it right now because it's only going to go up in my mind. I mean, like you just pointed out, those ugly stats for them in the first half. I mean, they've only scored 20 points for the whole season.
They haven't scored, not to interrupt you, they haven't scored a touchdown in 22 straight drives.
Oh, my God.
22. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Like, I'm with you. I think the play, if you're gonna bet on the Titans, buy it down.
Yeah,
right. Like, I think it's worth it to you just to give yourself a little bit of the insurance, because I could see an ugly game. I also like the under in this. I haven't bet it yet. I bet the Titans first half. I haven't bet the under, but I kind of like it. I can see this game being hideous. What scares me is Derrick Henry going off the second half. Sorry, I cut you off. Keep going.
No, you're fine. The under's 3-0 for the Jets. They've had combined scores of 33, 31, and 26. What is that total? You got it in
46.
46. Yeah, I think I like that under too. But I think I like the Titans more if you can get it at 7, buying the hook. And also Wilson's got no touchdown passes and 6 interceptions in the last 2 games. And I'm not putting it all on him. Like Alan said, they're not any good at anything.
No, they're not. I mean, they just aren't, and they're not well coached. At least right now, I think that he'll end up being a fine coach, but it doesn't look good. There's a stat. Oh, rookie quarterbacks this year, they're 1-10. The only rookie quarterback that started a game and won is Mac Jones against who? The New York Jets.
Boom.
And their rookie QB, right? Like,
right.
So this game is ugly. I like I said, I bet the first half. I might bet the under. I have time on the spread. I just don't know how I feel about it. All right, the next game we've got Tennessee, the Vols, on the road at Missouri. Missouri's a 3-point favorite, a total of 64.5. Brian, I'll go ahead and say this. I felt good about Florida covering against Tennessee last weekend. They did. Obviously, it took a very late score to do it, but it kind of played out how we thought, that it was pretty much how much Dan Mullen wanted to score. Like that was the bet, right? And it worked on us. Yes, James Villas is Herndon Hooker going to be the QB? It all points to it. I haven't seen anything official one way or the other, but I wouldn't be like, I would be surprised if they made a change right now, especially going on the road. I like Missouri in this game. If you're giving me Missouri with 3, like, Tennessee is not terrible. Like we saw against Florida, like they could score, they could get open. Like Josh Heupel's offense can do it, but on the road, yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. Missouri -3. What do you got?
I'm all over Missouri -3. Tennessee did do a good job of hanging around. Actually had the lead pretty late second quarter at Florida, and they hung around. Now Hooker's, well, we'll see later in the week. Obviously, it's early Tuesday. I mean, I think he's a little banged up. I saw he's listed questionable yesterday, so we'll see where he is, practice wise tomorrow or today through Thursday, and we'll know more Friday. But I've already bet Missouri. I've got to play on nearly every SEC game this week, but Missouri is I don't know that it's my top 2 or 3. I like so many games this week, but it's definitely on the card, and I've already bet it Mizzou -3.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And then our final game, we've got UConn at Vanderbilt here in Nashville. Vanderbilt is a 14.5-point favorite, a total of 51.5. Look, I love the under in this game. I think it's going to be hideous. I'm not betting Vanderbilt 14 and a hook. There's no way I'm going to do that. And I'm not betting UConn either. So my play is the under. 51.5. I think it's going to be hideous. What do you think?
I think this is a hard pass for me. And whether they cover or not, you're not a wise man if you're laying 14.5 with this Vanderbilt team that I saw one box score they had them with 4 first downs, and I saw another one had them with 5 first downs last week. But it was ugly. And now, I will get, I thought UConn was right there, one of the bottom 3 teams in America, right there with like UMass, Akron. I can't put Bowling Green in the bottom 5. What a win for the Falcons at Minnesota. But by the way, that was 15-1 money line odds from another book. That
wow.
I'm going to say the book because it was the only one I saw that listed a money line.
Yeah.
It was FanDuel. But they were the only book that had a money line that I saw on Vegas Insider's odds archive or whatever. And but now I will say this about UConn. They are bad. They're really bad. But they had the lead 16-14 at Wyoming last week, mid-4th. Now, they ended up losing, I think it was 24-22. But Wyoming hasn't played a murderer's row schedule, but they are 4-0. So UConn did have a good effort last week, but they were all the way out west, and now they're traveling south. Look, it's a pass for me, but UConn is not quite as bad as I was saying, or we were all saying, thinking the first 3 weeks, because they put up a good fight last week.
Yeah, I think they've certainly gotten better. Right. And who'd they get rid of? Edsel? Randy Edsel, is that their head coach?
Yes.
There's been a little bit of a boost since that. But I'm with you. Them traveling out west, then south. I'm not trusting Vanderbilt. I haven't bet anything on it. If I were, it'd be the under. And I might do that here pretty soon. But, yeah, it's an under or nothing play for me. All right. Moving on to the SEC this week. So we're in week 5 here. Not going to run through, and say every game. You can see it here on the bottom of the screen. But we got some nice plays. And Brian, you let it rip, buddy. What you got? You said you're on a lot of the games this week.
I am. Look, Georgia certainly looks very nasty. No doubt about it. Their defense passes the eye test. They're ranked. And, now that we've got a 4-game sample, I think, you can start using like who's ranked whatever in the nation. When people do that 2 weeks in, it's kind of silly. But they're giving up only where is it here? I think it's 5.6 points per game. It's 5.8 points per game. The number one scoring D in the nation, number one total defense in the nation. However, this is who they've faced: Clemson, UAB, South Carolina, and Vandy, who are ranked number 121 out of 130 FBS teams. That's Clemson, 121, UAB, number 79, South Carolina, number 115, and Vandy, number 123 nationally in total offense. So they haven't faced any offenses that are any good. And we know Texas A&M's got a really good D, and Arkansas scored 17 on them with the quickness. Now, then they kind of managed the game the rest of the way. And A&M, to its credit, did battle back, make it a one-possession game. But I got to take Arkansas here with all those points. Now, KJ Jefferson has got a bruised knee. He did come back in that game eventually. Pittman said whatever gel they put on, it took a while for the numbness to kick in, but it eventually did. And look, if he doesn't play, the kid Malik Hornsby is a little raw, but he's got track speed, and track runner speed is what I meant to say there. But look, you might need that speed to get away from Georgia's nasty D line. I'm not going to turn down plus 18.5 with a quality team. I also like Ole Miss plus the 14.5. I also look, you don't want to lay points with South Carolina, but Troy is not any good. And South Carolina's defense, man, they kept giving the offense a chance last week in that 16-10 loss to Kentucky. But they get after the quarterback. They force turnovers. South Carolina wins that game by double digits. I like them -7. A&M -7 looks pretty good too. I know they're off not great performance, but that has them in bounce back mode. And, we would have never dreamed this number would only be 7 back in the preseason. So I lean A&M. I have not bet that yet, but that's my lean. I have already bet LSU. I was able to get it at 3 yesterday. Obviously, I like it more buying the half point to 3. So I like Mizzou. I like Arkansas. I like Ole Miss. I like South Carolina. I lean A&M, and I like LSU. So, yeah, I got a lot of SEC opinions this week.
I like it. All right. Sticking in that game, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. So Texas A&M 7-point favorite, like you said, total of 46.5. I love the under in this game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I don't trust either offense. I kind of trust their defenses, but I just don't see a lot going into this game. 46.5 is a low number, but I like the under in this one. Okay. I already talked about Missouri. I lean to them -3. All right, I need your help here. I like Florida 8.5 at Kentucky.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what Florida team am I getting after the last 2 weeks? Now, I'm not saying that the Tennessee win was any big emotional play whatsoever, but where do we sit with Florida right now?
I feel pretty confident that we're going to get Anthony Richardson back, but Emory's playing good right now. Florida got out of that game injury-free. Now, Elam sat last week, best cover corner for Florida. Now, I don't believe Mullen. He'll often mislead the media on injuries, but he did say that Elam was probable this week. What's impressive, or first off, the Gators, do you know when the last time they lost at Kentucky?
It's like 1987 or something, right?
6. Right.
1986. Yeah, right. I was going to say it's been a while, man.
Yeah, it's been a while. What's impressive about Kentucky being 4-0, they are dead last in the nation in turnover margin, -9. And their star running back, Chris Rodriguez, who is a complete stud, he keeps fumbling the ball. And they better start taking care of the football. They were lucky that South Carolina's offense is so inept and they escaped, but they kept giving South Carolina chances last week. allowed Missouri to stay in the game, whatever that was, 2 or 3 weeks, or week 2. So if Kentucky takes care of the ball, I think it'll be a close game. I love Wan'Dale Robinson, their receiver, but I think Florida probably wins by 10-14. But I will say Kentucky, Florida has been fortunate to escape in each of the last 3 trips to Kentucky that were all one possession games.
Yeah, see, that's really where I'm at. Like I like Florida at 7. I would bet Florida at 7 right now, right? 8.5. So I'm looking at it saying, all right, can Florida get that one extra field goal, that one possession? And you're right. Kentucky's running back is going to put it on the floor, right? Like, I mean, he has. So that's where these things come into play. 8.5 is a tough number. I'm not going to bet it yet. I think that I am. I think that I'm going to take Florida with the 8.5, but we'll see. All right, the game of the week. Alabama Ole Miss. All right, it's already down to Alabama 14.5. Here's where I sit. Alabama's a better team. I think Alabama wins the game. Like, I don't think. Let me rephrase. Ole Miss can absolutely win this game, right? I'm not saying that it's a guarantee, but 14.5 after what happened last year with Lane, and Saban going back and forth, right? Part of me leans Alabama here, and that Alabama will pour it on late if they're up. It's just impossible for me to bet against Ole Miss. It's impossible. Like, this team is playing well, and the offense is there. We knew that. The defense is better than we all thought that it would be. Right now, they've got a heck of a bigger test this week, but it's just becoming impossible for me to bet against them. And if there's anybody in the country that can give Nick Saban fits, it's Lane Kiffin. It is.
No doubt.
So I don't have a bet on it yet. My brain says roll with Alabama. My heart says roll with Ole Miss. And I think my heart's going to win this one. But it all depends kind of where we see the move in the next couple days. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it moved either way. I mean,
yep.
Because I could see sharp money coming in on Ole Miss, 2 weeks to prepare. This offense is a juggernaut. And, Alabama's defense, couldn't stop them last year. Certainly showed vulnerability against Florida. I thought Florida, shockingly in my mind, because wasn't thinking a whole lot of my O-line. I thought we kind of pushed them around for the better part of the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, Alabama's defense can be had, and Lane's had 2 weeks to scheme up ball plays. So, but then again, at the same time, Alabama's usually such a public team. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes up. We'll see.
Yeah. And that was exactly my point. Like, excuse me, you're right. It could go either way. Like, I don't know which way the line is going to go. If you give me, I think my number, if you give me Alabama at 13, I'll take it. 13.5, I'll think about it a lot more. 14.5, Ole Miss. Yeah, I got to see more of how this line moves during the week. But, yeah, I'm leaning more Ole Miss. This is a tough one, though. It's a really, really tough one. It's going to be a fun game. All right, so let's move over to the NFL here. So we're in week 4. We got some really good games on the board. And I'll go first here. There's a lot that I like. First, I'm already on Chiefs minus 6.5. If you can find it out there below 7, jump all over it. Because, yes, I know the Chiefs have lost 2 straight. I know that betting them against the spread they're what, 1-10? Like their last 11. Like, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. However,
I think it's 1-11 maybe.
Yeah. However, if there's any week in the world to bet them with the spread, it's this week. 1, they've lost 2 straight. They've just got to get their act together. 2, their head coach goes to the hospital, comes back out. I think that it's kind of a come to Jesus type moment that creates itself, right? Like, I think everybody kind of reflects on, all right, what the hell's going on here, right? We've lost 2 straight. Our head coach is in the hospital, right? I think that it creates that naturally in the locker room. 3, Andy Reid they're going to Philly, where Andy Reid came from, right? Like, I think that will mean something to this team. I think that'll mean something to him. It's not Brady going back to New England. It's not that big, but I think it does mean something. So long story short, if you could get it 6.5, do it. If there were ever a time to do it, do it. I've got a couple plays here. Falcons +1 at home against Washington. I don't trust Washington at all. At all. They've given up 390 plus yards in 3 straight games. Their offense, besides one Antonio Gibson blow up, like their offense is horrid, right? Like I do not trust them whatsoever. I kind of like the Falcons really, in the spot at home getting the 1. The Cardinals +6. This team is exciting as hell. They can score at any point. Like, they were losing the Jaguars, and then they covered. Like, they're so explosive. They can score at any time. What concerns me is Kyler Murray can turn the ball over at any time. That's their only problem. That's their biggest problem. But I think you might catch the Rams in a little bit, kind of a little hangover. Not big, but a little bit. I also like the under 54.5 in that game. I think I like the under more than I like Cardinals. Seahawks +3. Against the 49ers in San Francisco. I can't see the Seahawks losing 3 straight. And if you're going to give me +3, +2.5, like they might lose. But if I can get those numbers, I feel comfortable with that. I also like the under 52 in that game. And then the last one, the Ravens +1.5 against the Broncos in Denver. Look, Denver's a pretty good team. And Teddy Bridgewater is an excellent quarterback to bet on. Like, this dude is money. However, the Broncos are 3-0. Have you seen the teams they played? The Jaguars? What? The Jaguars, Giants, and Jets? Like, I'm not saying they're a bad team. I just don't know. I said the same thing going into the Cowboys-Eagles game last night. Like, we're giving the Eagles a lot of credit for this Week 1 Falcons win. Like, they're not that good. You know what I mean? So I kind of like the Ravens in this one. If you're giving me points, like, the Ravens I think they've rushed as a team for 100 yards in 42 straight games, right? Like, I mean, that's tough to deal with. So, yeah, those are the ones I like. What about you, buddy?
Well, the one that's in headlights for me is certainly fading the Jags, and I already have made it an enormous for my standards play on the Bengals yesterday at minus. I bought the half point to 7. I will continue to fade this Jags team. Yes, they did have a 2-possession lead. They're almost getting quasi late in the third quarter, but they had that fluky, Kingsbury tried to kick a 68-yard field goal last play in the first half. They got a 109-yard kick 6 return, which was, pretty fortunate. And, oh my God, the holder, which I assume is the punter for Arizona, is such a little pansy. He so could have made that play, and he's like all scared. He's about to take some blindside block.
Wanted nothing to do with that tackle.
He wanted nothing to do with it, and I was so mad.
Hey, that's called making a business decision, baby.
Yeah, he did make a business decision. You are correct. So obviously, I'm all over the Bengals, and I'm okay with. Yeah, maybe not. Arizona didn't cover the first half. The other day. They did cover the first quarter. But I'm all over the Bengals, not against the first quarter or the first half in that game. And how about the Bengals defense, man? They're are balling. They are balling. And Pittsburgh is struggling. And we got a lot of injuries on Pittsburgh to determine before having, or at least I do, have an opinion on that game. Although if TJ Watt does not go, Packers are definitely a good, or I think a good money line parlay or tease team this week. I said I like the Titans against the Jets. I thought the Dolphins played good last week. The Colts are struggling. I don't want to commit to that quite yet. And look, the Lions covered for me the other day. What a heartbreaker, though. I mean, the longest kick in NFL history and hits the crossbar.
That was brutal.
Brutal. Tucker's. I mean, can we go ahead and call him the best kicker ever?
Yes. I'm perfectly fine doing that. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he is. And so on that note, I'm sorry, I was I was talking about the Lions. Yes, I might be on the Lions this week against the Bears after Detroit just looked awful with Fields the other day. I don't want to commit to it right yet. All I'm committing to right now is the Bengals and the Titans. But there's plenty of games that I'm eyeing, and we'll have definitive opinions by Friday.
Yeah, I agree. This is a pretty good betting week. There's some money to be made. Also, I'll say this: we've had 12 divisional games in the NFL so far this year. All right. When the road team covered, they've covered in 5 of them. The under's 5-0. The home team's covered in 7 of them. The over's 5-2. It played out for us last night with Dallas. So just keep that in mind. It's going to turn at some point, kind of even itself out a little bit. But right now, it is making us money. So you kind of notice that's like I had the Cardinals on the road +6, and I like the under in that one. The Seahawks on the road +3, and I like the under in that one. It's kind of the correlations that I'm doing here. So, yeah, just keep an eye on that. Those numbers have been making some really good money so far this year. All right, so going to our last segment of the day, building our perfect parlay. I'll run through it, the teams that I have, and I'll let you do the same. And again, I'm not setting these parlays by any means. I'm just identifying the teams that I think are going to win straight up, right? Like no spread, nothing involved. The NFL, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Saints, the Bills, the Titans. College football, BYU, Memphis, Boise State, SMU, Army, Missouri. So I got, man. What you got?
All right, I've already got one that I played, a 7-teamer.
Nice.
For +550. It is Fresno State, and that's the late one at Hawaii. So if the first 6 legs hit, you might be able to do some potential hedging if need be. LSU -175 at home to Auburn. So I got my big screen over here as well. I'm looking this
You're
way.
good.
Looking this way. Penn State -460 at home to Indiana. Texas A&M -310 at home to Mississippi State. Army -320 on the road at Ball State. Ball State is 1-3. My Army, my little side, one of my side squads. Army is still undefeated. South Carolina -280 at home to Troy. I'm gonna trust get the Gamecocks defense because that is a good unit. Offense, not so much, but I think they'll be able to run the ball. They do have good running backs. They just haven't really had anywhere to run when they played Georgia and when they played Kentucky last week. The other games they ran it well. And then Wake Forest -260 at home to Louisville, who's playing pretty decent football. But let's don't get too enamored with Louisville winning at FSU, although it was a winner for me, and I appreciate them. So there's my 7-teamer in college. In the NFL, I've got a 4-teamer that pays about 240-ish, I think. It's the Bengals, obviously, against the Jags. Or I'm sorry, it's a 3-teamer because I started it with the Cowboys on the money line last night, and then the Titans, who I've already talked about, and then the Buccaneers -270 at the Patriots. TB12 is not losing in his house in Foxborough.
Yeah, I can't believe it's -270. I mean, I get it. Like they're 6.5, 7-point favorites, but yeah, it's a big number. I don't think that's. I'm trying to take all the emotion, like not for me, but emotion that could be in that game, taking the names off, the faces off. Tampa Bay is an extremely much better team than New England. Like it's not even close. So I agree with you. I probably end up betting Tampa Bay. I think are they 6.5 still? I believe. Yeah.
I don't have.
Yeah, that's what I had. On our notes like right before the show. Yeah, Tampa's a good team, man. Now, I want to find out about Antonio Brown. Definitely need him in there. But especially with the Bucs coming off a bad week, and I know that New England is as well.
Still 6.5. Our friends BetMGM got it 6.5. Most books 6.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end up betting that. And I think I'm going to end up doing it right now before it climbs up because Tampa's definitely going to get the money this week. You'll see some sharp money probably on New England if it gets above 7. But 6.5, I'm with you. Tampa's they're a much better team than New England. Like just taking the names, faces, jerseys, like all that away, right? Like just looking, team A, team B. Like it's not even close. It's not even close. So, all right. I think that's all the time we have, man. It's a good show. We knocked out our teams that we're looking at. We've identified our plays here so far, and we got some nice stuff lined up. So, any final comments, Brian?
I thought I had some good stats here. I got nothing. I'll have all my good stats for you on Friday.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to A to Z Sports. Thank you to BetMGM. And thank you to you. Let us know what you are playing this week. If you put any bets in so far, what teams you're looking at. Keep the conversation going on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. And, yeah, want to see what you guys got. So for Brian Edwards, I'm Alan Bell. Thank you so much. Let's have a good day.
Go Bengals.